Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Gigi and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control to show you some of our adoptable animals. And we are going to start out this morning with our first guest. This is Bosco, and he is a Norwegian Elkhound. He is 1.5 years old, already neutered, male, and he will sit when you ask him. He's got pretty good manners for a young, friendly dog. And one of the things that we like to make sure people know about the animal shelter is about 25% of our dogs are purebred, different dogs, and we have a wish list feature. And that means if you have always wanted an Elkhound, you probably got a phone call last week, and we told you that Bosco was here. And if people on the wish list are not interested in the particular purebred that we get, then we will put him on the adoption floor and allow everyone to come in and meet him and see if he's the right dog for them. One of the half lap dog, that's good. One of the things about Bosco that is of interest to someone who might want to adopt him is that his previous owners told us that he can open doors. So it is something to know that you would want to get those child-proof doorknob guards if you were to adopt him. And it'd probably be pretty easy to thwart him once he found out that the doors were no longer openable. He would give up on that. Easy to do in a new home where the doors are new and the people are new and the routines are new before he learns to do it. So as you can see, he's a pretty smart dog and he has been well cared for. He is available from adoption from the Frederick County Animal Shelter on Rosemont Avenue. If you think that he would be a nice dog for your family, or if you know someone who's been looking for an Elkhound, feel free to come by the shelter and meet him, or go on petfinder.com, find his photograph by entering our zip code, and pass his picture around. That helps us out too. Our next guest is Max, and Max has been on the show before. He was featured probably about 3 weeks ago when he first arrived in the shelter. Max is a Labrador Retriever Shepherd mix. He lived with one family for his whole life, and he has so many things going for him. First of all, he's part lab. Lots of people like labs for family dogs. Second of all, he has lots of experience going with his family in the car, off leash to parks, so he's very responsive to training. Obviously, when you get a new dog, we don't recommend letting him off leash until you've worked on training and feel like you can trust him, and certainly you would do that in a safe and legal place. But there are dogs that you can never trust that way, and some people want to know that they'll be able to take their dogs to parks and enjoy some of the freedom that dogs like to have. Max could certainly fit that bill. Another thing he does is sit on command. He barks on command. He lies down when you ask him to. And his previous owner showed me at his intake that he'll bark a little howly bark that they jokingly say sounds like rock and roll. It's really cute if you can get him to do it. But one of the reasons that Max was featured a couple of weeks ago and is still here is that he caught kennel cough. And one of the things people have been asking us of late is, you know, what do we do at the shelter about kennel cough, and what is it? It's a cold that dogs get from each other, an upper respiratory infection. And one of the things we don't do at Frederick County Animal Control is we don't euthanize dogs for catching a cold. Obviously, if they were in dire straits and a veterinarian recommended it, we would do it. But we look at it kind of like a daycare center. And a lot of kids that go to a daycare center will pick up minor upper respiratory infections from each other. One of the things that we have been asked is, why would we not shut the shelter down and close the shelter for admissions, disinfect everything, which we could do. But the very first dog that comes in from the community could have an upper respiratory infection and it would all start over. So it doesn't serve any purpose to shut down for a minor infection that already exists out in the community. Obviously, the first dog we got with kennel cough came from Frederick. So it's a cold that dogs get and it's already out there. There's no way we can stop it from coming into the shelter other than by not having dogs here, which is our purpose. So we will continue to do. So Max is fine now and he's ready to go to his new home, be adopted. He was on antibiotics, treated by our vet here in the shelter. And another thing that people might be concerned about Max is his age. He's 10 years old. So what I would say about that is, since large dogs can live anywhere from 15 to 16, 17 years, it is a short time that you're asking to have a dog if you adopt a dog like Max. However, do you really, yes, Max, I know. Do you really know where you're going to be in 15 years with a big dog? And some people are planning to move, go to a retirement complex, they want to travel. So getting a dog that's going to be around for 5 to 10 years is certainly enough time to enjoy everything that Max has left to give, which is considerable because of all of his experience off-leash, camping, and enjoying family activities. So if you think that Max would be a good match for you, or maybe a companion for a younger dog you have that needs a good example, then consider coming in and meeting him, or passing his picture around to somebody who might be a good match for him. Our next guest is Ella, and we do not know a lot about Ella, except that she is a very large rabbit and very friendly, very good about being picked up. She really likes kale and parsley, as many rabbits do. But Ella came to us as stray from Key Parkway, so you can imagine if a bunny can make it on the streets, she's a pretty tough girl. She probably would have encountered some dogs as well as traffic and such. So she's pretty smart to have made it to safety enough for us to get her here at the shelter. And we are looking for a permanent home for her. Of course, that's what we do. But one of the things that people don't know about rabbits is that they eat hay. That is their food. It's pretty easy to provide for them because they don't need annual vaccinations, and hay is not expensive. It's also good for them to have some fresh vegetables, and in Ella's case, because she's in great shape from being free for a while, continuing her ability to have a lot of room to run around and exercise would be great. Sometimes people think when they get a rabbit that the rabbit is just going to live in a cage and kind of be more decorative than interactive, and that's a bad idea. They're very social. She would want to be with you. She would want to be out and about. So we can talk to you at the shelter about X pens, if you've ever heard of that. And you can go on YouTube and look up agility rabbits and see all that bunnies are capable of. There is even a video on there of a rabbit that herds sheep. Not kidding. And I think that Ella might be up to that task. So if you are interested in a unique and intelligent, great pet, impress your friends with your rabbit that runs around your house, supervised of course, and consider doing something a little different. She will make somebody a really great pet and is available at the shelter. Don't forget that we are open on Wednesday and Thursday nights till 8. We're also here on Saturday. That's for your convenience, and also so that our pets have more chance of finding you and making a good match. Our next guest is Gigi, and Gigi is an Angora bunny, and all of the same information about caring for her as we talked about with Ella is still true. Gigi is a little more shy than Ella. She didn't live as a stray. She's had a pampered pet life. So we, in her cage, have offered her a little box that she can go inside and hide. She likes to climb on top of. A lot of times rabbits are more agile than people think. They do like to climb on top of things, go inside of things, and as long as they are able to get healthy exercise and they're very strong, then that kind of thing should be encouraged because it keeps them healthy. Another thing people often don't know about bunnies is that they need their nails trimmed like a dog would, and that you can teach yourself to do, or you can have done at your vet, or some pet stores offer that service. Gigi is an adult female rabbit, and we do spay and neuter bunnies before you adopt. So one of the nice things about having a spayed or neutered rabbit is that some health problems are avoided by spaying and neutering, as well as some temperament problems. When female rabbits are in the mood for nesting, they can be a little aggressive and territorial. So by spaying them, you can remove that kind of behavior issue, and it makes them a nice pet. If you're interested in a pet that your kids can handle, then we would certainly talk to you about teaching the kids to interact with the bunny, teaching the bunny to get used to that kind of handling. One thing about rabbits being prey animals is that they often panic if you move too quickly or do something suddenly, because in nature, it's very important for them to run if there's any question about intent of approach, because they're food for everybody. So you do have to go slow with bunnies and win their trust and let them know that you're not any danger to them, as well as anyone else who's going to be handling them. So if you think a rabbit would be right for you, then give us a call. We'll talk to you about that, what's involved with a bunny as a pet. There's also houserabbitsociety.org, and they have tons of information. And busybunny.com has a lot of sources of toys for rabbits. And at first people might say, toys for rabbits, what? They do need to chew to keep their teeth healthy. And it's really important to keep them away from bug spray and treated wood. So busybunny.com offers a lot of options for things that bunnies can chew on that are safe for them, that are also fun and interactive, so that they won't be bored in their cage. So if you think that a bunny might be right for you, let us know. We'll help you out. We are going to be back after a short break with a lot of more animals for you to meet. And at the end, we're going to have a super cute special guest. So stay with us.
Hello, my name is Doug Orner, and I serve as Director of Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service for Frederick County. I've been a volunteer with the Vigilant Hose Company in Emmitsburg, Maryland since 1972. Why do I think it would be a good opportunity for you to become a volunteer? It's a great way to meet new people, learn new skills, and also you can receive college credits for some of the training that you receive. And there's always that reward of hearing a special thank you or a smile on somebody's face whenever you've saved a life or helped them in some way, shape, or form. For more information on becoming a volunteer, visit our website, stop by one of our 26 stations throughout Frederick County, or give me a call at the office. I'll be glad to assist you in becoming a volunteer. Look forward to seeing you at one of the stations in the near future.
Hey, look at that large group of paddlers over there.
Yeah, that's that Parks and Rec group again. Nice bunch. They're out here all summer. They do trips on the Monocacy and the Potomac.
They sure look like they're having a good time.
That's probably because the staff is so helpful and informative. Anybody can go on those trips.
Well, what am I doing out here with you then?
I don't know. Neither of us can swim, and you keep sticking me with that hook. Hey, what are you doing? You gonna flip the... Oh!
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back. We are back with some more guests, adoptable animals at Frederick County Animal Control. And we're going to start out with Lucky, who is red tabby and white. He's a domestic short hair, 2-year-old neutered male. And he came to the shelter from an owner who brought him in because they said they could no longer afford to keep him. And one of the things to think about when you adopt a pet is there are some incidental expenses. Obviously, they can eat out of dishes that you already have, ceramic or metal bowls. They can sleep on bedding that you already have, towels or other linens. But cats do need a litter pan. It is a good idea to replace it every year because plastic absorbs odors. They also need food and kitty litter, which is a periodic expense. And probably the greatest expense with a pet would be emergency medical care. If your cat gets sick, which is not that common of a thing, but if your cat gets sick, you do have to be prepared to get to the vet and get an opinion about what might be wrong with him, whether it's serious or not serious. And then in order to prevent those things from happening, most veterinarians recommend at least an annual visit to your vet just for a once-over, like a 10,000-mile checkup. making sure they don't have any lumps and bumps, making sure their coat looks healthy, their eyes look good, that they can hear and see normally, they're not experiencing any mobility problems. Obviously, you can see most of these things at home living with your pet. The problem is that you're going to notice signs of trouble when the pet is already uncomfortable or in pain, which oftentimes a vet can notice before that happens and do preventive medicine, which is a little cheaper than the emergency visit that results from signs or symptoms. So there is some cost associated with having a cat, and you should definitely plan for that. There's pet insurance if you choose to go that route. And if you think that a cat is right for you, then consider coming by the shelter and meeting the few cats that we have, which I would like to thank everyone in Frederick County for all the spay-neuter. There are rescues working on managing feral colonies. There are responsible people that used the Snyder Grant this year to spay loosely owned cats, and the shelter is doing very well as far as being able to house all the cats that we are getting that are friendly and healthy. So thank you for that, but don't forget, even though we may only have 20 cats in the shelter, those 20 cats need 20 homes. So if you are considering adopting a cat, please come by, check out the cats that we have. We have some kittens in foster care that will be coming into the shelter in about a month. So if you are interested in a baby cat, we will have those too shortly. If you think that Lucky would be a good match for you, then please come by the shelter or let us know or pass this picture around. Thanks. We are back with Marley and Puss in Boots, and these boys are 10-month-old brothers. They don't look much like kittens anymore because they are almost to their full-grown size. They still have a little bit of growing to do and could be adopted together if you were in the market for two cats at the same time. Sometimes people do want to have two because they play together and entertain each other. In fact, Randy said when he went to get them out for this part of the TV show that they were doing exactly that. We have them housed together in the shelter because they do enjoy each other's company. They don't fight over food or bedding or anything like that. So they get along with each other very well, and sometimes people are looking for a pair that's already matched. If you are interested, these boys came from a home, so they are already litter trained and used to furniture and walking around with people and each other. And they are indoor-only cats, and they will be receiving updated shots, and you'll get a copy of any medical information from the former owner. The reason that they were given up is their family said that they're moving to a place where they can't take them along. And we've talked about that plenty of times on the shelter. Of course, on this TV show. Here we think that pets should be part of your family, therefore when you move, the pets should go with you. But there are a lot of people who fall on hard times and don't have that type of relationship with their pets. And one of the most common reasons we hear at the shelter for parting with pets is moving, and the pets just become more of a hassle than people are willing to deal with. So one of the things you should know about moving with pets or having pets is that a lot of landlords restrict what kind of pets you can have and how many. Some property management associations require a pet deposit. They might require a monthly increase in your rent for as long as you have a pet. And sometimes the pet deposit and the monthly overcharge is returned to you when you end your lease if your pets have not done any damage to the facilities that have to be repaired. That's what the pet deposit is ostensibly for, to make up for anything that your pets do. Now, I can also tell you, I know plenty of landlords that say their pet-owning tenants are very responsible and that they prefer renting to people who have pets. But it's a little hard to find someone who is willing if you don't know them. So what you can do is, if you have rented someplace with pets, make sure you get a reference letter from that landlord that you can show to any new landlord. And obviously you want to keep your pet's shots up to date and keep copies of those records to share with landlords as well, showing that you're a responsible pet owner. And if the pet in question is an animal that can receive any kind of training or recognition of that, then you want to keep that paperwork as well. If you are interested in getting a cat or two cats or cats that are almost still kittens, These guys are available at the Frederick County Animal Control Center. We would love to have you come by and meet them and see if they are a good match for you, or of course pass their picture around to people that might be a good match. We are back with Vegas, and Vegas is an adult male gray tabby, and not that it matters, but his technical color is kind of rare. He is a tabby cat, but he doesn't have any black hair at all. So we call this a gray tabby. He still has stripes, just that the stripes are not outlined in black like a typical brown tabby would be. Vegas is a big cat, and we are working a little bit on a Weight Watchers program for him while he's here in the shelter. Cats don't have problems like people do with occluded arteries and heart disease, so being obese isn't as dangerous for them as it is for people. But ideally, every animal does well at their perfect weight, so we are trying to help him get there. Also, if cats are extremely obese, which Vegas is not, they are at risk for diabetes. So we do want to make sure that we prevent that from happening to him. He is in great health. He is neutered, and he is up to date on his vaccinations. He will get a rabies shot at the vet of his adopting family and be all set for a year. We note also, you can tell by watching him on TV, he's a little shy. He's more shy than the other cats that you've seen today. So he would probably like someone who is patient and would introduce him to a new environment gently and slowly so that he can understand he's got a great new life ahead, nothing to be nervous or afraid about. So if you think that you are that kind of person that can be gentle with this big boy and let him know that everything is not over and he is going to have a whole new start, then please consider coming by the shelter and meeting him or passing on his picture to someone who might be just like that. And most likely you can see already that he's on Randy's lap. He's coming around and wants to climb around in the kitchen and see what else there is to do. But cats primarily like to control their space, so when they're in the shelter, coming out of their cage is a little, can make them a little nervous. And often we project onto animals the way that we feel by saying things like, oh, it's so sad that they're in a cage and I wouldn't want to be in a cage. True for people. But cats in a new place do like a small enclosed area that they have complete control over, at least in the beginning. And Vegas hasn't been with us very long, so he is still building up his confidence in that space. And once he is settled in, he will be ready to move to a bathroom or small space in your home, and then gradually get used to the whole area that he could have as his very own if he's the cat for you. We are back with the special extra cute guests that we promised you. And what I would like to talk about is foster homes. One of the things that Frederick County Animal Control has is a foster home program. We have 80 families who are willing to take in animals that might not make it in the shelter or need some special care that is hard for us to provide in the shelter. And one of the special cases is kittens like this. These kittens were found by somebody who wasn't able to trap the mother and brought the kittens in when they are young enough that they can still be convinced that people are wonderful. At this point in their life, they're a little bit unsure. So they're not too worried about the cameraman, but what they would really like to do is go hide. And one of the interesting things that our foster homes go through is kittens like this. They do not think that petting is comforting. They do not think the human voice sounds pretty. So many of the things that we do to soothe animals instinctively are actually punishing and frightening to these little guys. So what we do with them is with a minimum of handling. You can see they're only being touched by the towel. We got them out of the cage with the towel. Randy's draped with a towel. That also protects them against germs from cats that have already been vaccinated or have lived outside and picked up germs that would be harmful to these kittens. But it also lets them gradually get used to the smells and sounds that are associated with living with people while they are still young enough to make positive associations. So these little kitties are going to spend a few weeks in a foster home. There are some other siblings in this group until they are friendly and outgoing and think that everything about people is fantastic. So if you are interested in providing that kind of intensive care for a few kittens or a litter of kittens, or a couple litters of kittens, then please give us a call here and ask for Linda or a foster application. And then we will come out to your home and talk to you about what's involved. Really, all you need is a bathroom and a lot of patience, and you would be able to help us save some lives. If these kittens were brought into the shelter and made to stay in a tiny cage with each other, they're not really going to learn that people are anything but cleaners and a source of food. What we want for them is that they would find out about carpeting and kitty litter and toys to play with and being picked up and taken from room to room in a house, and that's what our foster homes offer us. So if you are interested in fostering a litter of kittens, then check out the program. We have orientations that you can come to and see what it's like. You can talk to former foster families and see how much they love it. And actually you can see already, just from not expecting these kittens to be touched at the moment, they are already starting to sniff around the room and decide if they want to go exploring. But this little one is saying, no, I think I'm just going to go under my brother. That would be safer. So we are going to take them back to their siblings, and hopefully you would be interested in our foster program, or once kittens like these are available for adoption and spayed and neutered, you would come in and get a kitten for your family. So thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Randy, for not letting that one get out. And we hope you join us next time. And if you've seen any animals that you like today, pass their pictures around, give us a call. Or if there is an animal that you would love to adopt and we don't know about it, then call in and get on our wish list. If you would like to see other episodes of Pet Pals, you can check out the link below. And always, you are welcome to come to the shelter and see what we have. Thanks for joining us.